All the armed forces of Ukraine will strike at the parade on May 9th.
Non-combat decorations such as medals and ribbons hang on the chest.
Meanwhile, Putin has organized a legitimate target for testing Ukrainian long-range weapons right in the center of Moscow. We believe that ahead, the parade should be led by a damaged motor block and half-dead loaves, wholly armored personnel carriers, and legless, armless infantry with combat scooters and donkeys.
It starts with the homeland.
This is exactly what Putin fears, and that's why he is proposing a truce for a few days. More than 100 drones enveloped Russia this night and during the day. In Murmansk, Vladimir region, Russia drones struck the warehouses of a defense enterprise. The Murmansk instrument-making plant was hit by SBU drones. It specializes in the production of ignition devices for ammunition, as well as components for the Russian Navy and military aviation. Drones attacked Kursk region, resulting in a powerful explosion. Boom, bada boom. Good drone. Night. They caused a ruckus in the Kursk, Bryansk, and Vladimir regions. And not only there, a sudden fire broke out at military warehouses in Zabaykalsky Krai. In Moscow and other cities across Russia, rehearsals for the May 9th parades have begun amidst the victory celebrations. Standing at the corner with a scythe under the pilot cap, the battle decorations proudly and honorably hang on the chest. Well, Ukraine has the opportunity, if desired, to strike at the parade. In Moscow, where many world leaders will gather, said the Secretary of the Defense Committee of the Verkhovna Rada. This is exactly what Putin fears. Public total humiliation. We currently have the capability to take and strike the Russian parade with drones at the time when Putin, Xi, and others are present. We have such capabilities. And if there is a command and it is planned, then, well, it's just a matter of time. I think that the Russians 100% will pull in the SPPO from Russia, and in Russia there is nothing to cover the Black CPU. And Russia is not Armenia. I think everything will be pulled to Red Square, but we currently have strong capabilities in developing long-range influence means. Therefore, let's say if there is a desire to plan such an operation, it is not a bush deed, a big challenge. Friends, like this video and subscribe to my YouTube channel. And we are starting. Well, the Murmansk instrument plant was hit by an SBU drone. 5 explosions were reported at the facility. It is preliminarily known that 2 buildings were hit. As a result of the attack, a fire started. Burn brightly so that it doesn't. By the way, the Murmansk instrument plant is included in the sanctions list of Ukraine and the European Union. It specializes in the production of ignition devices for ammunition, components for the Russian Navy and military aviation. Simply put, the Murmansk powder tool plant. It was loud last night. In many regions of Russia, attempts were made to shoot down unknown drones that flew in for the spectacle. In the airports of Nizhny Novgorod, Ivanovo, and Yaroslavl, they conducted planned cover. In Roleisk and the Kursk region, local drones carried out several strikes. Local residents are writing, and in Murmansk, Vladimir region, an industrial enterprise was hit, as we mentioned earlier. The Russian Ministry of Defense reported that they shot down all the drones over the Kursk, Bryansk, Oryol, Vladimir, and Belgorod regions as usual. Well, a fire suddenly broke out at military warehouses in Zabaykalsky Krai. The fire broke out in a military unit near the village of Bolshaya Tura. The entire village is blocked off to the scene of the incident. In addition to the usual fire brigades, a plane and a fire train arrived, and the head of the district, Alexei Sidelnikov, reported that the fire spread over tens of kilometers. A major fire also broke out in the center of Tbilisi at the clothing market. In Moscow and other cities of Russia, rehearsals for the parade on May 9th, Victory Madness, have begun. And the secretary of the Defense Committee of the Verkhovna Rada said the following: Ukraine has the capability, if desired, to strike the parade in Moscow, where many world leaders will gather. The Russians will pull together everything they have to cover Red Square. But look, we now have powerful capabilities in terms of long-range weapons, so we will say yes if we wish to plan such an operation. It's not that difficult, stated Roman Kostenko, a member of the Ukrainian parliament. Putin is currently pulling together all possible air defenses to Red Square to prevent anything from hitting the parade. And of course, Ukraine's friendly drones will arrive.
Initially, the very first item in the entire sequence was carefully selected as the starting point. Dance! For Uncle Vasya's troops, guys, stand up.
They served and lived, they served and live, always in the airborne. We are flying away to the skies. We are flying away to return.
And the charged ones only please the eyes with their play, guys.
Every voice matters. Join our community, support independent journalism and help us bring you the truth from Ukraine. Become a member of Ukraine today. Join us now.
Xi Jinping, Fico, Usyk, and others who will come to Moscow on May 9th. This year, allies of Putin will arrive in Moscow to participate in the celebrations of the 80th anniversary of victory. So we have compiled a list of those expected in Mordor. The head of China, Xi Jinping, Slovak Prime Minister Robert Fico, Serbian President Aleksandar Vučić, Brazilian President Lula da Silva, Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro, Palestinian leader Mahmoud Abbas, former Vietnamese President Tu Lam, the President of Cuba, the President of Burkina Faso, Armenian Prime Minister Pashinyan, the President of Abkhazia, Badr Gunba, Azerbaijani, President Ilham Aliyev, Belarusian President Alexander Lukashenko, and Kazakh President Kasim Jomart Tokayev. Remember, there are difficulties with the pronunciation of surnames for Putin. Kyrgyzstan President Sadir Japarov, see Uzbekistan President Shavkat Mirziyoyev, and Tajikistan President Rahmon, as well as Turkmenistan President Serdar Berdimuhamedov. Meanwhile, the traditional victory frenzy in Voronezh organized a parade for children from stroller straight to tank.
During the passage of columns of universal armored vehicles with enhanced protection. The car has hydropneumatic independent suspension, automatic transmission, and engines with the power of 1 Daddy's horsepower. A column of tanks passes through the square.
And Russian singer, Putin supporter Valeria sings the song "Where Does the Motherland Begin?" against the backdrop of ruins.
Where does the motherland begin? From the picture in your yard.
The video was published in the stories by the singer's manager, Stanislav Kalinin. Where exactly the video was filmed is unknown. Possibly in the occupied territories of Ukraine, or in the Kursk region where Russian military have been flattening settlements as much as in Ukraine.
Good and very loyal friends, living in the close and supportive neighboring yard.
Or maybe it begins with that song our mother sang to us, with the fact that in any trials, no one can take us away.
Where does the motherland begin?
So, Peskov makes a statement that Russia remains ready for direct negotiations with Ukraine, but there has been no response from Kyiv yet.
Well, those were the words. The special military operation continues. The efforts of the United States continue. Efforts to steer the process towards a peaceful resolution. The readiness of the Russian side has been repeatedly confirmed by the President to start the negotiation process with Ukraine without any preconditions in order to move towards a peaceful resolution. Efforts continue, that's all we can say.
So our proposal, which President Putin announced, is to start direct negotiations without preconditions. A ceasefire in this situation is considered a precondition that will be used to further support the Kyiv regime and strengthen its military capabilities. Remember when President Lukashenko recently visited Moscow and at the press conference?
Meanwhile, the Russian army has significantly increased the intensity of combat operations on the front, stated Commander General Syrsky. The main efforts of the Russians are concentrated on the Pokrovsk direction. Their goal is to reach the border of the Dnipropetrovsk region by May 9th. And when Peskov states that Russia confirms its readiness for direct negotiations with Ukraine, but there is no response yet, and they want a 3-day truce to ensure, God forbid, nothing hits, in their opinion, the May 9th parade. The Ukrainian Foreign Ministry responds, if Russia is ready for a 6-day or 90-day ceasefire, so are we. But to cease fire for 3 days, so that Putin or his double can calmly and fearlessly hold their parade, Ukraine is not going to do that.
Wow, that's something.
Russia must stop talking about its readiness for peace and start acting by unconditionally agreeing to a real or long-term ceasefire. Once the guns fall silent, negotiations can begin in any format that will bring peace, noted Zibiga.
The next few days are critical. Essentially, what we've noted regularly is that we are going to look at what Putin does, not what he says. This is key. And the point of the foreign minister of Ukraine is a very good one. If this really is about a commitment to anything, regular and actually humanitarian, why wait? Why wait for 10 days? And it's not, what President Trump is asking for and what Secretary Rubio has noted regularly, is that we need to see real action that indicates that these parties in particular, of course, President Putin is serious about stopping the carnage.
And we will be watching what Putin does, not what he says, stated the U.S. State Department spokesperson. Tammy Bruce called Ukraine's stance on Putin's 3-day truce very appropriate. The day before, Foreign Minister Andriy Sybiha stated that if the fire can be stopped now, there is no point in waiting until May 8th. I emphasize that Ukraine is ready for at least a 3-day truce and more. The U.S. State Department spokesperson emphasized that Putin's theatrical performances do not interest Donald Trump. Meanwhile, Russia is ready to discuss with the U.S. the American presence at the Zaporizhzhia nuclear power plant as part of resolving the conflict in Ukraine. That was a quote. In other words, the war in Ukraine, full-scale aggression, stated the head of Rosatom, Likachov. Open your eyes, Usyk, he addressed the U.S. president. World heavyweight boxing champion Alexander Usyk on Piers Morgan's show called on U.S. President Trump to stop the war in Ukraine, but without ceding territory to Russia.
President Trump in seeks peace, but it is believed that Ukraine will have to give up illegally seized territories to Russia. What is your stance on this? This is nonsense. This is nonsense. Listen, we have many disputed areas. Why is Russia doing this and the world remains silent? This is nonsense, yes. Listen, our world lives by the truth. We have our own place. Ukraine is like this. This is Ukrainian. Why are you taking my country? Hey, President Trump, open your eyes. What would you like from President Trump? Please, stop the war in Ukraine. But not to give Russia the territory? No, of course not. This is my territory. This is the territory of my country. These are my people. Of course.
Friends, like this video, subscribe to my YouTube channel, Dasha Happy. Write a few warm words in support of Ukraine in the comments. Be with us. Be on the bright side. The war is most likely settling along the current front line, and the occupied territories will not be recognized as part of Russia. Yegor Chernov, deputy head of the Verkhovna Rada Committee on Defense, made such a statement. But both Ukraine and the USA may sign an agreement on resources within these days. The Ukrainian side is ready, reporting that First Deputy Prime Minister Yuri Sirotenko is currently in Washington. Bloomberg is publishing the details of the Ukraine-USA agreement on resources. Firstly, the USA and Ukraine will aim to create conditions for increasing investments in the mining industry, energy, and related technologies in Ukraine. At the same time, it is acknowledged that the agreement should not contradict Ukraine's plans to join the EU. And in the USA, they agreed that only future military assistance, which they may provide to Ukraine after signing the agreement, will be considered when calculating their contribution to the fund. Friends, please like this video, subscribe to my YouTube channel, Dasha Happy. Write a few warm words in support of Ukraine in the comments. Stay with us. Be on the bright side. Glory to Ukraine. Glory to the heroes. We will definitely win.
Since then, according to polls, many residents of the United States sincerely believe this. And today, as is known, Berlin invited to the celebrations the Bandero Nazis, proliferating like typhoid lice, rather than representatives of Russia. This is, of course, absolute and extreme cynicism. This must not be forgotten. In May, Americans, by the way, only commemorate the Day of Remembrance and Reconciliation, as is known. And with much greater pomp, the United States celebrates September 2nd, the day of Japan's surrender in World War II. The senseless nuclear bombings of Hiroshima and Nagasaki became a symbol of true retribution for the Americans. The only question is for whom? In essence, it was the population of Japan for several generations ahead. And, as is known, the high-altitude strike itself was absolutely safe for America. And the outcome of the battle was beyond any doubt.
The liberation of the Kursk region is, of course, a major military political event, especially on the eve of the 80th anniversary of the Victory Parade on Red Square on May 9th. And this strengthens Russia's negotiating and political position in those complex and multi-step combinations being built today. Of course, it has enormous political, military, and ideological significance. Here, I think everyone understands this, including Zelensky, who is not successful.
We speak the same language. Are we talking about some elites? What elites? Money was stolen somewhere, and there they flaunt it. And here we are the elite. What kind of elite? The elite are those who defend the homeland.
5 convictions.
5 states.
4 convictions. 3 convictions. 3 convictions.
These are the people. This is the elite. This is the future. The future of the country is with them.
2nd conviction. 2 convictions. 3 convictions. Infliction of grievous bodily harm resulting in death. Article 105, murder. Article 105, Part 2, murder. Murder. Article 105, murder.
This is our real golden reserve.
Murder. While drunk.
Attempted murder.
Then they are not afraid to entrust the country to them. To such people, we need to help them.
I am the widow of a hero of Russia.
I am the mother of a deceased corporal. My husband died. We are very grateful to you.
Thank you once again, Vladimir Vladimirovich.
I thank you from the bottom of my heart.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
I am a mother of 4 children, a choir conductor, and recently a widow. Vladimir Vladimirovich.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Vladimir Vladimirovich.
Thank you very much.
My husband died. Thank you very much, Vladimir Vladimirovich. Vladimir Vladimirovich, I am the mother of a heroically fallen soldier. Thank you. My brother unfortunately died.
Thank you for the boys, son.
I am the elder sister of the deceased, participant of the special military operation, Artyom Rizhov. Married, raising 3 wonderful future defenders of the homeland.
Good. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Everything is fine. Everything with us.
Everything is normal.
Everything is fine. Thank you.
Yes. Thank you very much. In conclusion, I also want to thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Whether Trump imposes sanctions against us or not, what difference does it make? Macron states, Putin must prove his commitment to peace. To whom? To you, a pathetic wretch? We owe you nothing at all. Zelensky agrees to an absolute ceasefire. Yes, we don't care what Zelensky agrees or disagrees with regarding the ceasefire. Our land is not liberated. The tasks set by the Supreme Commander have not yet been fully completed. We need the security of our country for generations to come. We are not going to stop. We do not think in those terms. We are going to accomplish the tasks set by the Supreme Commander. The military-industrial complex lives and works for this purpose. And the guys in uniform, who every day are not waiting for Trump, are carrying out the assigned combat missions. And this attempt to explain something to us, this word, but is he going to impose secondary sanctions or not? Yes, Trump is not Putin. He does not have the full extent of power and capability.